Welcome to Wealth and Wellness with Grace Nabasabla.
Hi, welcome. This is Grace, and today I'm bringing you some safety tips for your job or just entrepreneurship in general. And point one, it's about no free lunch. I like this statement because sometimes we think everything is going to be free. Somebody offers you a drink or something to eat and you just take it, right? Because like we've been told, it's always nice to be polite. However, sometimes you have to realize nothing is free out there. So make sure that before you take on all those free things, that you think about your safety. No wonder I don't drink because I have to always think about my safety. Most importantly, the safety of others. Especially being a nurse, I always think about safety first. So before you consume anything, alcohol, food, or anything out there, consider your safety first. Point number two. It's about sharing your location with your family members or people you trust before you go out there to meet strangers. Also, sharing at least their identity, who you're meeting with. Let somebody know, because we've watched so many shows out there and so many times people literally disappeared in even broad daylight. So share your location so people know at least where you last went and they can backtrack you from there. Next is about knowing your exit strategy and your surrounding. That's important. Now as a realtor, actually it's very important. Most times we go out there to listing appointments and also meeting buyers at different locations we are not familiar with, right? So getting there ahead of time and probably canvassing the neighborhood is going to help you. Looking around the building first. If something looks alright around there, you might think about it. Maybe it's not safe for you to go in there, or at least bring another colleague with you at that appointment. Or especially, how about meeting those people in public, in a public area, which is going to be one of my other points. But always think about your exit strategy. And that also includes parking on the side of the road, right? So you won't be blocked in, because you never know who's out there that you're planning to meet. So think about having a safety and exit strategy. Next is about having your necessities with you. And these necessities include your phone, and also it can include your wallet, right? Especially if something happens to you, at least people know. If you have a wallet on you, they'll know who you are. At least they might be able to identify you. Hopefully that wallet is still with you, right? Sometimes we meet people and we have all these gadgets with us. Say for example, you have your purse. As ladies, we have our purses, we have our computers, we have our phones, we have jewelry, we have so many things with that. However, if the situation is unsafe and you have to escape, guess what? Those things which you're holding with you can also become a hindrance to your escape. So at least having the least amount of necessities is going to help you, especially your phone, and keeping it on at all times, which also includes making sure it's charged so people can trace you. Next, it's about not trusting every and anybody out there blindly. In nursing, we have a saying, trust but verify. I love this saying because it definitely saved me a lot of times. Human beings, we are born to trust. We have that caring in us, right? However, that also can cost us, right? So think about, who are you trusting? Have they earned that trust? And verify. And the way you can do that, they have apps out there, right? For realtors, we have Fair One and also Noonlight. You can verify the identity of the people you're actually about to meet. And do you know that social media can do us some good? You can literally search anybody out there on social media, or even do a background check. Recently, when I started hosting Airbnb, guess what? All my clients and guests get verified. At least we have to do a background check. And the last guest that I actually shared that information with, that we needed a background check, do you know what they told me? They mentioned that nobody had ever done a background check on them, especially for our Airbnb. And I wondered, because if you're coming to stay in somebody's house, how safe is it that they're just not doing a background check? But they mentioned that nobody actually seemed to have cared enough to run a background check. And for me, I did a background check and it costed me about $39 for a month. But it's better to be safe than sorry, right? So please, trust but verify. That's very important. Next, it's about having a certain dress code. At this point, I'm saying it as a lady, but it can also work for a guy, all right? So think about, sometimes we are thinking, okay, when people talk about dress codes, sometimes it's really implying that they're blaming the victims, who most times happen to be females when things happen. But I mean, have a dress code where you're making it harder for a predator, right? Something like have a belt on, have pants, have, you see, button that shirt, have something whereby somebody won't be easily, because you never know what people are thinking, but at least it will make it harder for them. And also, which means our shoes. We have to make sure that if it's time to run, to get out of that situation, make sure you're wearing comfortable shoes where you can easily leave that location. Next is about making safety a priority. And this includes having some standards, right? So what standards do you have in place when you leave your house, when you leave your car, before you enter your car? You have to think about that. I normally don't leave my windows open. I lock my door at home before I leave. And also blinds. I close my blinds, right? Before you go in your car, you're at least looking around, trying to make sure nobody's close by, right? When you enter your vehicle. Also, lock your doors when you exit your car. Because when you leave it open, you never know who's gonna enter your car. So make safety a priority by having certain standards in place. And next is about limiting your exact locations. Say for example, if you're doing a live, this is especially for people who are out there in public, okay? So I do Facebook lives every day. And so if you're doing a live, limiting where you are, such that if somebody's trying to locate you, they can't find you there. If I go on vacations, I don't share my vacation location until I leave the vacation, right? So limiting that information will help you just for safety. And also, do you know vandalisms happen a lot of times when people share their information that they're on a vacation? Because you never know who's out there watching. The world is literally watching. So limit who you're telling that information to, especially the world. After you're back home, you can definitely share that information about your experiences on a trip, but don't share it when you're still there. Next is about being ready before you have to get ready, right? I love that point, because sometimes we think about safety when it's too late. Make sure you're physically fit, right? Because those are also safety tips to help you when you're in a situation where you have to fight for your life. You literally have to fight sometimes. So make sure you have enough energy in you, right? Self-defense classes are out there for some reason. Having something on you, right? Tasers. Some people have guns, right? So whatever you have in place to help you when that situation escalates, right? And also your voice. Do you know that you can use your voice to de-escalate the situation? Because it's not what you say, it's how you're saying it. Because sometimes it's all about communication and miscommunication especially. So try to figure out what is necessary in this situation. If it means you trying to calm down the situation by using your voice, being kind, right? Showing empathy, begging for your life, do whatever it takes. And make sure you're safe at all times. Last but not least, always trust your gut. Always trust your gut. Your gut will always protect you. Because sometimes we think, okay, I have this gut feeling telling me to do something or not to do something, and we ignore it. And the more we ignore it, guess what? All those things happen in our lives that we are not proud of, that we despise, that we are so disappointed with. Guess what? Because we did not trust our guts. So continue to trust your gut, because your gut is literally God communicating with you. That's how I feel about when I know that something is telling me something, the universe is sending me messages. That's God communicating with you. So trust your gut at all times, because it will never lead you wrong. Thank you for watching these 10 safety tips, because you can definitely use these tips on a job, as an entrepreneur, anywhere you are out there. Because I definitely use most of these tips as an agent now, as an investor, and suddenly as a bedside nurse. So I hope they help you in your near future. And please do not forget to subscribe below. And until next time, you stay blessed.